You still haven't found yourself all the way at the age of 60. It's time for the grown man in you to grow up. A woman will become a product of your environment. Offset and Cardi B is a perfect example. Cardi B came into it. She had no kids. Offset had how many? By how many? Cardi now has 2 by 2.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So today, of course, we have a new conversation in regards to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Okay. Recently she was on Club Shay Shay's show, and the two of them had a lot of different discussions. They talked about a lot of different things. As you know, we all came to know, the majority of us came to know Dr. Cheyenne Bryant after her appearance on Cam Newton's Funky Fridays, in which, you know, she kind of, for a lack of better words, checked him or called him out.
Your life entirely, or your life in
My
relationships?
my life.
See, don't deflect. Let's stay here.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. As you would say it, Dr. Bryant. You said it. I didn't say it. I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time.
Since then, you know, it definitely heightened her visibility in, you know, all over social media. She was then, you know, doing, you know, different tours and talking to other people. I think that she is a part of, like a conversational tour that they tour and talk about relationships and dating and stuff like that. She was on Fox Soul, or maybe she still is, I'm not sure. And she does that as well. She kind of talks about celebrity commentary. There was even a clip where she was, you know, calling out singer Neo for his behavior.
What is Neo to you, Dr. B?
He's a womanizer. He's making these other women pay for the heartbreak that he caused to himself by saying, I want to be polyamorous. That's BS. You failed in your marriage. You're effed up, and that's the problem. Now you need to heal from that and not have these self-project your pain onto these women about your messed up decision-making.
She's gone on to, you know, The Breakfast Club and done interviews there and talked about her relationships and stuff like that there as well.
So I do believe that different relationships bring out different things in us. I was also an extreme alpha in my first engagement. I had 2 engagements, called off 2 weddings. My first relationship that I was engaged to, I was extreme alpha. So even if he tried to be alpha, I left no space.
So as I said before, you know, she was on Club Shay Shay and they talked about a plethora of things. Okay, they got into so many different things. And interestingly enough, somewhere in between, she ends up getting kind of lost in the sauce, I guess, of the conversations. And a grand portion of her female fan base that completely turned on her. Okay, so we're going to get into a couple aspects of the conversation. We're obviously going to get into, you know, the female fan base turning on her based off of some of the things that she said. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it, give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinion on this entire situation. So, you know, the conversation has had so many different parts. I personally did not watch the full interview. I'm just being honest with you guys. I saw clips from the interview that made it across, you know, social media. I saw that there was one clip that Club Shay Shay's Instagram page actually posted, in which, you know, she talked about being a, you know, supportive woman, a supportive spouse to her ex-fiance, and, you know, how it's so important for a woman to be there for a man.
When my fiance had an issue, my last one, sat on the couch right here, literally. He said, I sat here, and I just put my hand on him. I said, he ain't look at me. I said, baby, I don't know what it is, but I want you to know, whatever it is, even if it's financial, I'm not leaving you. And I love you, and we'll get through it. Didn't hear he did this. And tears just rolled by.
And listen, it sounds amazing, right? Coming from, you know, somebody that looks well in appearance, and they're saying these things, and they're, you know, providing a sense of support for men, which we know for a fact that men don't get certain levels of support. It sounds great. But interestingly enough, you know, she sat there and she said that she was there for that man and she was supportive of him, and that she, you know, explained to him that she would never leave him. But ironically enough, she left him. Okay? She completely left that man. And how do we know this? Because she talked about it on The Breakfast Club when she was there doing her interview.
Was engaged for 10 years.
Engaged for 10 years?
I kept putting it off because I knew that wasn't my person. Great guy.
For 10 years?
10 years?
And she said he was a great guy.
Great guy. He was a great guy. He just wasn't my guy.
10 years, he thought he was the guy.
So you strung him along for 10 years. Why you ain't let him go be great with somebody else that would appreciate him and love him?
So I'm not saying for 10 years I knew he wasn't the one. When we got about year number 5 or 6, and I seen that.
Now, people who do not follow, the trail or the conversations in regards to the situation would seem like, wow, like, what a woman who stayed with that man. Maybe she's still with him. Like, what could have been the problem in that relationship? But the fact that, the reason why she left that engagement and the reason why that they no longer continued in relationship is literally tied to the same thing that she was consoling him about was a little bit strange to me that she brought it up in that way, knowing that they never saw that situation through.
I'm saying his thing was, baby, I'm cool with me, you a dog in a one-bedroom apartment. So for the first 6 years, I thought, well, I'm out here getting it. I have a legal company. I own property. I'm only 22. I'm getting all these college degrees. How can he not be inspired by me? See, that's that age-appropriate young woman. He got potential. Let me stay. But when I seen number 7 and 8, this guy was the same guy where he was lazy and had no work ethic. I had a pivot.
Well, he had the work ethic that you wanted because he worked.
Now, of course, the same thing that she does, when she goes onto these platforms, she did it when she talked to Nick Cannon. She did it, when she talked to Cam Newton, which is, again, what we kind of, grew to know her because of. She diagnosed Shannon. Okay, she sat with Shannon. She diagnosed him. She talked about the fact that, like, basically, it's a little boy in him while he's not able to get into relationships. She talked about the fact that, like, almost like he can't find himself, like he's lost because of the fact that he is, not in a long-term relationship.
You still haven't found yourself all the way at the age of 60. A man who can procreate with multiple women without wanting to make sure that there's a foundational family there. He has a loss of self. And that man has an identity crisis. The little boy in you does not know how to navigate. It's time for the grown man in you to grow the fuck up.
Now, what gets me about this situation is the hypocrisy of it all. Like, you're single by choice. You're single because you want to be. You're single, and it's a healthy mindset for you to be single. Something that she discussed with on Cam Newton when he asked the question that a lot of people were wondering, like, you're giving all this advice to all these people. How come you were unable to find, your spark in a relationship with somebody else? And she answered that.
The question shouldn't be, why isn't a woman of age, of success, of a certain caliber not married with kids? The question should be, why are people rushing to the altar just to become divorcees or baby mamas and baby daddies? Mm-hmm.
So it's ironic to me that she's sitting with him and saying that something is wrong with him and, like, he's kind of lost in the sauce and he doesn't know, basically who he is and he needs to, dial back to his childhood and all these things. She has all these conversations to say about him in that regard. When I was kind of surprised that the conversation didn't stem to or didn't reach to, you're talking about the fact that he has a lot of people that he is unwilling to trust.
How you can be successful transactionally, but your heart is over here. Talking about, well, at what point am I going to get seen? And then what the little boy in you tells the heart is, didn't nobody want to see you when you was young? Mm-hmm. Or why do I think, as a little boy, that you're deserving of someone who would take your heart and really protect it? Easier for you to have transactional sex because that gives you control.
Instead of the conversation being, maybe advise on how he can sift through the women who are around him, how he can try to find out or navigate dating in certain relationships. She's basically made it seem like him being single is an identity crisis. And for him to be healthy and whole, he would need to be in a relationship. So how come it's different for you? How come when you were posed that question, your answer was, well, I'm healthy, I'm fine, I'm great, there's nothing wrong with me, I don't have any issues. It's just that there's not enough men out there for me. I don't get it.
You're not married. What do you say to those people?
I don't want to hear you've been together 15 years but miserable 13. I'd rather take advice from a single woman or man who's happy, thriving, successful, meaning in their joy, not just in their monetary value, than someone who is miserable in their marriage. The Bible also says single people are happy people. Look that up. It says marriage takes discipline.
Talked about, fatherless daughters and how they're the ones who like bad boys. And, she called him out as a bad boy. Like, was like, when he asked the question, she was like, oh, you talking about you?
What is it about good girls who like bad guys?
Yes.
You mean like the woman who been liking you?
Then she gave her reasoning saying that, the only women who are attracted to bad guys outside are women who, don't have fathers in their lives and because they're looking for like a leader or a protector outside because they've never experienced it.
I think that those women, again, are women who are overcompensating for fatherly bad guy who can come in and create a leadership that they believe leadership is. Mm-hmm. Usually those women are fatherless little girls who don't have a clue on what healthy leadership looks like.
Now, I want to get one thing very clear, okay? Very, very extremely clear. I'm the type of person, I say it all the time, I'm with you when you're right. Is there a point in that conversation that I think that there is some validity to what she is saying? Yes. Do I think that it is a one size fits all? I absolutely do not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there is a lot of women out there who have fathers and mothers, okay, and have great relationships with their fathers and still go out there and choose to do whatever it is that they want to do. When we look at statistics that say, a two-parent household is the same as a man raising children by himself, they were talking about the statistics in regards to how younger men are affected. If they go to prison, if they, look for somebody to raise them in the streets and stuff like that. But under the gaze of young girls or young women who are growing up, I firmly and strongly believe, not from, any kind of doctorate or anything like that, but from personal experience, having conversations with real people in real life and from what I've seen, that it is solely dependent on the type of father that you have. Because there are a lot of fathers who are out there who are yes men to the mama. There's a lot of households where they are two-parent households, but the woman is the one who runs the household. And so, in turn, that younger woman feels like she either has to have dominion over all men and she's going to be the guy and, be the leader and tell him what to do. Or she feels like, okay, you are now showing me a kind of strength that I've never seen from a man. And so now this is what I'm attracted to because I've never witnessed it on my own.
A woman who's had a father knows how to decipher from a controlling man who's the bad guy and a man who knows how to lead her.
I have to say this, and it's something that I said, a multitude of times before, that it's time out that we stop, that we, quit blaming men for all the actions of the children, right? If a man is around and he's a certain way when it comes to his children, oh, he's too strict, that's the reason why they're going to go out in the streets and act like this. If a man is not around and the mother is raising the child, oh, it's because the dad's not around and that's why the kids are acting like this. Do I believe that fathers are, extremely necessary to be around their children and to be in their children's life? We don't even have to have that conversation because we know that's true. However, as a woman, I believe that young girls, the way that they behave, the way that they maneuver outside in the world is directly correlated to how they saw their mother behave. If the mother, I'm just going to keep it out there. There are some single mothers out there who, are single mothers by whatever reason. Okay. And they have younger girls who are well behaved, who are classy, who respect men, who know how to relate to a man, who know how to deal with or be a submissive woman to a man because of the way that their mother operates, because of the way that they see their mother deal with men. Young girls literally perpetuate what they see from their mothers. If their mother was trifling, they're going to be trifling. If the mother don't respect the daddy, they don't respect the daddy. If the mother doesn't respect men, they don't respect men. And I think in all of these conversations, the onus is always put on the man. But it's ironic because majority of the time, as soon as the child is born, the woman be walking around like, this is my child. So how come when things go haywire, the responsibility is never put on women? Now, again, they talked about a plethora of things. It was a long conversation for sure. But where Cheyenne Bryant seems to have lost the crowd, okay, was when she said this in regards to the Cardi B and Offset situation.
A woman will become a product of your environment. Offset and Cardi B is a perfect example. Cardi B came into it. She had no kids. She was in her career. She's going diamond and platinum with her records. No kids. Offset had how many? By how many?
But you had a couple.
So who became a product of whose environment? Cardi now has 2 by 2.
Now, I can't translate, okay, what it is that she's saying. Her conversation that she's having is leaving it up to the viewer's interpretation. And from the viewer's interpretation, from what I saw people are getting from this, and basically from hearing, in my opinion, on what she said, she's saying that basically Offset rubbed off on her, and that's the reason why Cardi is a single mother, baby mama outside, because of Offset. And the women on social media. They were letting her go on and on about the conversations. They were letting her go on and on with all the other clips about the things that she said. They were letting her have all kinds of conversations. But this is where they drew the line in the sand. Here you can see the first person says, no, Cardi is the reason she has 2 baby daddies. She didn't have to go and have another baby outside her marriage. The next woman says, and just to be clear, I'm purposely highlighting only the commentary from women, okay? A lot of men was dragging, her for the stuff that she was saying too, but I'm purposely only talking about the comments from women, okay? The next woman says, this is so inaccurate. Cardi became a wife and, like most, chose and wanted to be a mother. How are having children that you wanted with your husband anyone's fault? Shake my head. Next person says, not really, because my baby father was treating me horrible and never did I go give my body up and have a child with another man. I think they're just finding excuses to make women look better nowadays. Everyone has to learn accountability and be able to understand what's right and wrong, but it's a blessing. It's a blessing to her child. God always gives when time is ready. Let me tell you what the problem is, right? The problem is not that she's 2 for 2, right? Cardi B was married, had, 3 children with Offset, right? Fine. Nothing wrong with that. Fine. The marriage obviously did not work out and they could not get on the same page. Understandably so, because of a lot of stuff that happened from both sides, right? Let me tell you where the problem is in this conversation. Cardi B, okay, was sleeping with this new man when she was pregnant with the last baby with Offset. Then decides to have a baby with the same kind of man that she left. Do we not forget that Stefan Diggs' baby with Cardi B is, I believe, the 3rd child that has come into the world in 2025? Cardi B jumped out of the frying pan into the fire, and you're going to blame Offset for that? She made a choice. A choice that she vehemently stands 10 toes down on and says, I'm just happy and I'm living my life. And you're going to blame Offset? As if Offset has control over Cardi B's lady parts? Next woman says, yeah, this is ridiculous. No one can make someone a product of their environment. People become a product of their choices, decisions, not their surroundings. Environments can influence, but they don't control. Actions reveal character, not excuses. #girl bye. Next woman says, we all have a mind of our own. She made a choice, a slow one, but a choice nonetheless to become a married baby mama. Now, let me tell you, like I said before, my issue is that in a lot of these conversations, a lot of the stuff that we touched on in regards to her interview with Club Shay Shay, I just feel, Shannon Sharpe, I just kind of feel like a lot of the accountability points towards men being the problem, whether it's the fathers being the problem, whether men being single at a certain age is like an identity crisis or something is wrong with them or they're unhealed, whether it is that because you were in a relationship with a man that turns you now to be with somebody else, and because of what he had going on that it influenced you or forced you into the same book. Like, all the accountability is going to the men, and I haven't seen a part, and maybe I just missed a part of the conversation, but I have not seen a part of the conversation in regards to the two of them that did not reflect, in my opinion, hypocrisy based off of all the other interviews that she had, or that did not reflect any accountability on a woman's part. And that's just me. I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.